You're watching The Extra Point here on Hawk TV, and let's dive into our third topic of the night. With all the parity going on throughout the top 25, who is your clear-cut favorite this college basketball season?
Yeah, a lot of teams taking turns beating each other. Kansas, Michigan State, Indiana, Duke, and Kentucky now with UCLA beating them. But I think right now your clear-cut favorite is the same as was before the season started, and it's Duke, and especially the emergence of Luke Kennard as a sophomore. He's been unconscious from three. He's played really, really improved on the defensive end. And Grayson Allen kind of had a slower start to the year than people might have anticipated. Emil Jefferson is the guy that Duke fans have been talking about, needing Emil Jefferson and kind of using him as a scapegoat when he's injured, that they need Emil Jefferson to win a title, and he's looked every bit of that part. And an interesting wrinkle, I guess, for Duke is they have the number one prospect in the country coming to them. He's injured right now, Harry Giles, a five-star guy. I don't know if it's in the best interest of Duke to kind of mess with their offensive game plan right now. Coach K has now had some experience getting some one-and-dones in there, but it's going to be interesting to see if Duke can kind of fit him into their nucleus right now that's a little bit older and kind of is going to have some tournament experience already with some preseason tournaments. You don't know what kind of Harry Giles you're going to get. And I'm kind of a proponent of a college guy that knows he's going to be a lottery pick to kind of do everything he can to be a lottery pick. And I don't think Duke needs Harry Giles, and I don't think Harry Giles really needs Duke.
And I agree with you 100%. I read an article about that last night, actually. I love the way Jason Tatum is playing, one of the freshman class that they brought in. Of course, by far the top recruiting class in the nation that Duke had this year. Also, Marcus Bolden coming in. Didn't play very well against Florida, but I think, for me, it's not necessarily Duke. I'll stay within the state and go with North Carolina. Because I look at North Carolina, a team that Monmouth actually plays in a couple weeks.
They do.
You look at the way Justin Jackson is playing, Joel Berry, their point guard, and then you have guys like Kennedy Meeks down low. I mean, these are grown men out there that North Carolina throws out there. Roy Williams doing an incredible job of developing his players that stay for 4 years, and I don't think we see that a lot in college basketball anymore. And to have this much of a veteran-laden crew on your team is going to prove leaps and bounds come March.
If you're a big-time recruit, I don't know how you're going to turn away North Carolina right now, especially because of the patience and the development of Kennedy Meeks and Justin Jackson. I mean, those are just two guys you can look at right there. Roy Williams has been super patient with them, giving them playing time when they weren't completely ready, and now they've really come into their own. Kennedy Meeks got into way better shape than he was when he was a freshman, and Justin Jackson looks like a really good all-around player that's kind of used his time on the court to get better. And you don't see that a lot with a lot of Division I coaches, especially at a program like North Carolina, where you kind of are making them develop by putting them on the court. You know, and you see Duke, a lot of guys will transfer, have transferred from Duke because they get buried on the bench from Coach K. And, you know, it's a different philosophy, it's a different style. But if you're a recruit right now, I think North Carolina is going to continue to get some five-star guys, and they aren't doing the one-and-done thing. And it's really fascinating to see a team kind of doing Duke's old mold of having the four-year guys and having the veteran guys and having guys that not only are going to be in the team for 4 years, they're going to play for 4 years too.
And one more team I really love this year, and I know you're going to disagree with me here, is Baylor. They're sitting right now at number 4 in the country. They have 3 wins over the AP top 10 when Oregon was ranked 4, Xavier was ranked 7, and Indiana was ranked 9. I believe it was their third was Indiana. And looking at Baylor, they're a team that rebounds the basketball so effectively. You have Jonathan Motley, who averages close to 10 per game. You have other guys on the bench that could do a lot. And listen, Scott Drew hasn't really proved that he could get the job done past the first round in March, but you look at this team now, they're just playing loose. They have this weightless personality to them, carefree mantra on the court, and I think not having that pressure is one of the reasons why they went out there and beat 3 AP top 10 teams and another AP top 25 team in Michigan State at one point. So 4 wins over the top 25 teams in the country. They're playing carefree with no pressure, and I think that makes them very dangerous.
And Baylor, I will agree with you, Baylor is a threat to take down Kansas's impressive Big 12 winning streak for sure. When it comes to March, we've seen it time and time and again with Scott Drew. I understand it's a different group, a lot of different players this year. And again, Motley has been fantastic. And they're a really athletic team, and most Baylor teams are very athletic. They run up and down the floor really well. They rebound really well. I do want to see how they do, you know, with some Big 12 tournament and then, you know, upcoming March Madness, obviously, you got to assume that they will be there. But I've been disappointed by Baylor teams before. I've kind of seen this movie before, kind of different names, different faces, but always kind of the same plot. But I'll give Scott Drew, I'll give him credit here. They're playing awesome. They're probably the hottest team in the country. They probably have the most impressive resume in the country. And, without a superstar player, too, a lot of team ball and a lot of athleticism and rebounding, especially on the offensive glass.
All right, well, we're going to stick with college basketball, but we're going to shift into our fourth topic of the night. And now, drawing comparisons to Jason Kidd, is UCLA's Lonzo Ball the real deal?
Man, this is fun. Lonzo Ball and really the Ball family of LiAngelo and LaMelo Ball as well. It's going to be a fun couple years of West Coast college basketball. I don't know where his two brothers are going to play too.
They're actually committed to UCLA.
Are they committed? So UCLA basketball has some fortuitous stuff coming their way. Lonzo Ball is unbelievable. And when I saw this kid's highlight tape, and by highlight tape I mean YouTube, I'm not a college scout here, but I mean a really awkward way of shooting the basketball. It seemed like he was dominating, kind of weaker competition, and it looked like he was kind of a man amongst boys on the floor, especially playing at a public high school at Chino Hills in California. Now, I mean, you've seen this guy just crush Kentucky with not only his athleticism, he has one of the tightest ball handles I've ever seen in my entire life. And I like the Jason Kidd comparison, but I think Lonzo Ball is more athletic than Jason Kidd, and I think he's probably a better long-distance shooter. We've seen him make some NBA threes. I know some scouts say that might be an anomaly, that he's not as good of a shooter as he's shown so far, but I'm going with what I've seen, and this guy seems like a really well-rounded player that's going to make a really bad team in the NBA right now happy for a lot of years to come.
And what I love about Lonzo Ball is he makes his teammates better.
Yeah.
And this is a UCLA team last year that was in the gutter of the Pac-12, lost to so many teams at home and on the road. I mean, just a historically bad season last year for the Bruins. This year, you have guys like Isaac Hamilton, TJ Leaf, another freshman. They're feeding off of Lonzo Ball. One thing that I love about him is not necessarily his ability to score, but his ability to get assists and get his teammates involved.
Yeah.
Because he averages right around 8 assists per game. And his ability to really dish the ball, create space for his teammates and open players is what makes him so versatile, standing at, I believe, 6'4" is his height.
Yeah.
And that's Russell Westbrook's size right there. And to have a taller point guard to be able to distribute the basketball and handle the basketball that well makes him very lethal and a very hard guy to guard, as we saw in that Kentucky game when they just really struggled to really shut down Lonzo Ball. Because even if you do, you still have his other weapons that he's going to pass to. That's what makes UCLA and him so good.
And I think that's where the Kidd comparisons comes in because of his height and his ability to make his teammates better. Bryce Alford on UCLA too is going to be kind of a steadying hand for them. He's had some tournament experience. He had a great postseason tournament 2 years ago. So it's interesting to see how he's going to keep playing this year too.
And the great thing about Alford now is he doesn't have to shoot the ball the entire game.
No.
Because that tournament team a couple years ago, he was the only guy.
Completely relying on him, yes.
So now he could sort of get the ball and set up and shoot it, as opposed to taking the ball up and then trying to create for himself and for his team. So I think that's what really makes it good for UCLA, is you have so much here. This is your year for UCLA and for the Ball brothers in the future as well.
And I love Lonzo Ball too, because he kind of bringing the point guard prospect back. We've seen such good center prospects in the last couple of years, and now you're kind of getting back to maybe a point guard renaissance in the NBA. Right now we're having a big man center renaissance in the NBA. So this could be a revolution of something new for the Ball brothers. I'm really excited.
Well, guys, always fun with my two guys here. Always fun talking college basketball with you guys. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be talking the NBA. So stay tuned.